Right, guys, Melissa here. Thanks for joining me. I am going to share a story with you and invite you all to join me as much as you want on this adventure. So, join me as I downsize my expenses. And I already don't even live on that much, but I can get it even cheaper. So, guy told me a story yesterday, and he says, I made a lot of money and I was living paycheck to paycheck. He said he made a ton of money, more than most people. But his lifestyle was one that he liked to party. He liked to party all the time. He would go out with friends. They'd go out, drinking, all this stuff. And so one day he was telling me one of his relatives, his like 19-year-old niece or something, had something like $34,000 saved. And she had only been working for a few years. And he was put to shame, he said. He said he was so embarrassed by her ability as just a young kid still to save money and have more than he had. Now I guess she's like a multi-million-dollar person with real estate and everything. The only other level, I guess, is a billionaire, right? But anyway, she has worked her way up there. She invested in real estate, so she has a ton of money. But he was telling me that one decision changed everything for him. It was very difficult for him to tell his friends, no, I'm not going out, I'm not drinking, I'm actually going to save money because my niece over here has more money than I do. And so he really made a decision to buckle down. And then he was talking about how, he never paid his rent on time. And then he had decided, well, since I don't pay my rent on time, why don't I pay myself first? So then he started paying himself first. And he had like a couple thousand saved. He kept doing this. Then he was paying his rent on time and having a bunch of money saved because that cushion helped him save money, basically. That's what I'm guessing. And so he ended up saving and saving. He had a ton of money saved. And then when he was in the military, he was saying that they had back in the day paid you to retire, like I think the 80s or something. So he took the money. It was like 32,000, and that was a lot back then. And then he put it away and, CDs and everything. So he was talking about what a big nest he has now because he was wise and saw the way he was going. So he told me what he ended up doing. I said, that's really inspiring. What he ended up doing was he ended up eating like food at the dollar store. He started just buying like SpaghettiOs in the can, ramen soup, like the cheapest food you could ever think of is what he did. And that was one thing he did to save money. So guys, join me. I am on a new adventure of having a low income job, and therefore you also can get the free resources. This is like I'm talking to moms too, because I started a family in a trailer. That's how I started. I started my family. We were first in an apartment, and then there was like a fire code. We couldn't have a second one there, so we moved into a trailer, and I was able to be very frugal. Then once the divorce happened, I was like, you know what? I don't want to cook. I don't have time for this. I need to take care of myself emotionally and mentally with this whole divorce that happened. So I'm like, there's going to be a time that I am just, the money is not the priority. I'm the priority, right? Self-care. So now that I'm doing much better and everything and, moving on here to other stuff, take the challenge of saving money even more. So my housing is not much, my vehicle is not much, and now food is not going to be much. And whether you get that from a pantry or whether you have a high income job or you have lots of jobs and you can go to the dollar store and buy food, as long as it's healthy. I mean, I don't know about canned pasta all the time, really. I mean, I don't think I'd eat that, but going super, super cheap. Rice, veggies, gravy, super cheap. So that is my new challenge. I'm going to be putting videos up here for moms too to save money on food and find new ways to make creative things to save money. And I used a lot of resources. My husband worked, but it was a low income job. I was telling somebody about this today. And so many times, it was just cooking for the week. It was just being very frugal with cooking. And then as my teenagers started to get older, I'm like, I'm just going to a food pantry. It's going to save me time, right? They're eating me out of the house. Just go to a food pantry. And that was a great idea so that I could use that money to get other things that I felt we needed, especially with the homeschooling. Your time is super important when you homeschool. So, just saving money now. Working and saving. Working and saving. That's it. So I've downsized my life to say, okay, you love to do all these things, but downsize. And I have done basically everything I've wanted with my life, except I probably will travel more when I'm older. I probably will do that. Um, the other thing is, as I have done just about everything that I want with my life, make sure you put God first. So the more you are filled with spiritual stuff, the more you're like, oh, I don't really need that. That doesn't make me happy. Clothes, I wear the same old clothes. Stuff, not really. I've had so much given to me growing up and everything. Like, no, not really. So this is a special time in your life, ladies, when you do not have to take care of your kids or anything. It's just you. Take advantage of it for now, guys.